Hello there, Maverick Currency traders. This is Rob Reinhold. It is March 11th, and we had another eventful day in the markets. In this session, we're going to be talking about the news of the day. We're going to be going over all the charts. We score everything from +3 to -3. That tells us where to go hunt, what to go long, what to go short.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional Forex and crypto traders. Maverick Currencies is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional Forex and currency trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
All right, in the markets today, we had another down day, but it wasn't as bad as we've seen lately. First off, news of the day, the JOLTS job openings in the U.S. basically came out as expected. A tiny bit better, but really as expected. The big news of the day was more tariffs. Now look, I know we're all getting a little tired of this, the tariffs going on, coming off, but President Trump came out and threatened that he was going to raise tariffs on steel for Canada up to 50% from 25%, specifically in retaliation to Ontario putting tariffs on the energy they were sending to America. The market's dropping on that news, and then Trade Representative Peter Navarro came out and said, no, that's not going to happen. You didn't mean it. It's not going to happen. I'm going to say this again. Again, this is not a political statement. This is just a factual statement about the market. The more these tariffs go on and off, the worse it is for the economy, because what it does, it freezes businesses. So anyone who's in business, look, just say it's a 25% tariff. Just say it's a 50% tariff and stick with it. It stinks, but then they can plan. Right here, right now, planning has ground to a halt. There's nothing going on. People don't know what to do because there's no clarity. It's very negative for the markets and the economy. And we saw a drop. Then we saw a little recovery off this news, but really not all that much of a recovery goes. In the Forex market, we did not see a big risk-off move. So let's take a look at the currencies that were down for the day. All the currencies of safety, currencies that were up for the day, and again, we'll talk about the euro and the pound here, but the Aussie and Kiwi were up for the day. That's a good indication that this market might be looking for a bottom. And we're going to take a look at several asset classes here, and we're going to see that a lot of risk on assets actually were positive today. And risk-off assets actually sold off a little bit. And this is just one of the asset classes I'm going to show you, that if it was a down day, we should have seen yen and Swiss franc spiking and Aussie and Kiwi selling off. We saw the opposite. Now granted, euro and pound continue to be the best. These were our top scores from last week. Pound was my favorite trade for the week. So they're still working very, very nicely here. But I don't want to ignore the fact that today was a down day in equities. And yet we had more of a risk-on move in the Forex market. We take a look here. The S&P at one point was down about 1.5%. It cut its losses. And frankly, if they would have closed the market at 330, the S&P was almost positive. We had a pretty quick little sell-off at the close. But to me, this is a good recovery day. The world index basically flat for the day. Crypto had a really nice turnaround today, a really nice turnaround to where it was down about 5 or 6% overnight, and then it rebounded. So again, this is another risk on asset that has bottomed out. It bottomed out and moved higher before the stock market. Oil, another risk on asset, actually closed up for the day as well. So look, I don't want to point this rosy picture here, but again, I'm starting to see some risk on assets bottom out. Here are all the cryptocurrencies. You can see they're basically up about 5% across the board. But again, I want to show you this intraday reversal that we had where we were just still in this heavy downtrend, falling, rallies, falling. You can see right here we put in a new swing high. So at this point on the short term, crypto does look like it's in the middle of a bounce. That being said, remember, this is a bearish market. We have lower lows, lower highs. We do get very aggressive bear rallies here, but you can't, as a trader, expect this rally to keep going because it's in the midst of a downtrend. And if you think that this is the bottom, how many times have traders said that's the bottom? And how many times were they right? Well, we would all say not many. It could be the bottom. Look, I have no idea. You have no idea. It could be the bottom. But of all the times traders over the years have said, oh, that was the bottom, very rarely was it the bottom. So you have to treat this as not the bottom because we have no idea, and you have to treat this as nothing more than an oversold rally in the crypto market. So again, I am not interested in chasing crypto on the long side. And frankly, I'm only interested in chasing stuff on the short side here. That being said, again, the S&P, we are falling. And again, we've had a really big fall. We've had a very big fall from when that 5770 has broken, and really had a huge fall from the top. Top to bottom, we're down right around 10% here. So we've had a 10% fall with really no rallies. If you've been listening to me, I've been saying I'm waiting for a break, a rally that fails, and then that's going to be the best short opportunity. Guess what? I think we're getting close to that point. Again, I have no idea. Anything can happen in this market, but I'm starting to see some risk-off assets bottom out. If you take a look at a lot of the technology issues today that have really fallen off and fallen hard, you saw some of them bounced. Coinbase was up on the day. Tesla was up on the day. Palantir was up on the day. So again, a lot of the big stocks have been part of this downtrend. They bounced today. I think we have a bounce coming. I think it's going to be a couple-day bounce. I think it's going to be a great short opportunity. So that's what I'm looking at in this market. So if we take that into Forex, what we are looking at, I'm looking at there being a 1, 2, 3 day bear rally. So I can do one of two things. I can participate in this little rally, maybe try to catch something like Aussie Kiwi long against yen or Swiss franc, which is I shouldn't say risky trade, but it's a counter trend trade, meaning if it is going to work, it's only going to work for a couple days max. So you got to be perfect on your timing. You got to be in, you got to be out. It's a very, very tight window. You can look at that trade. The better trade is let everything bounce and then go ahead and do another risk off trade once it fizzles out. That is the better trade to make. So I'm going to be talking about what to do over the next 24 hours, 48 hours. So I'm obviously looking for a little bit of a bounce in the markets. Tomorrow, we do have CPI, and this is a catalyst. So looking for catalysts, whenever you have a market that's really in free fall, we have these catalysts that say, okay, this could be the moment that reverses everything. Let's say that this number comes out at 0.2. Oh my gosh, the equity markets are going to soar. We could easily see a 3%, 4% up day in equities and a huge reversal and risk off. Do I think that's going to happen? No, because every single inflation measure has been horrible, has been higher than expected. So I think this is either going to be at the number or higher than expected. At the number is still a little bit of relief. But again, I really think if that number just comes out at 0.3, it will give these markets relief for a day or two. And that's what I'm looking for in this potential trade over the next 24 to 48 hours. We also have Bank of Canada tomorrow. So Bank of Canada rate statement, they're expected to cut 25 basis points. That's likely going to happen, and we'll see what their statement says going forward. All right, let's go look through some of the currencies, and let's take a look at some opportunities. I already stated I am not interested in crypto, so the ones I'm really interested in, again, I like Euro and I like the pound. But we take a look at Euro, I'm going to take a look at this on a daily chart. You can see it could be a little overextended. The pound to me looks much, much better. Breaking out of a high base. Yes, it didn't quite break out today. Give us a little wick up there. Everything's looking good. So pound to me is the best trade out there right now is pound. Now again, what I'm meaning by best, I'm really talking about win-loss. I'm talking about the odds of being right. However, I do not think the pound is potentially going to be the biggest winner over the next 24 to 48 hours. The currency I think is going to be the biggest winner is the Aussie and the Kiwi. So we've got Aussie, Kiwi. To me, these, again, are looking to be the better bounces. So we just have to decide which one do we think is going to participate. If we take a look at the CAD, I don't like CAD at all. Could it get a good bounce? Sure it could. Dollar, I actually think the dollar is a great short here. And let's think about it. If I'm looking to make a counter trend trade on the market, meaning the market's in a free fall, and I think there's going to be a couple days of a bounce, that bounce will likely come because of weaker than expected CPI out of the US. If that's the case, the dollar sells off. The dollar sells off on that weaker than expected CPI report. So I actually really like the dollar short, but I don't like it short before the CPI. I like it short after the CPI if it comes out at 0.3 or lower. So I really like that dollar, but again, the dollar trade is dependent on that CPI. If we're looking to get out of that, then I think we're looking at yen and Swiss franc. If you take a look at the euro, they're both hitting swing highs. They're both hitting resistance levels. They're not great shorts because they are uptrending. But again, this is going to be a counter trend trade I'm looking to put together over the next 24 to 48 hours. So the momentum right now is all in the pound. Pound is looking good, and we've got Swiss franc selling off. Here's that yen looking more neutral. So for me, Swiss franc is going to be my focus on being short against. That being said, the pound is probably the more sure trade, but I also think the Aussie and the Kiwi look like to be the bigger gainers. So let's take a look at all those pairs. Let's start off with pound Swiss franc. So pound Swiss franc, again, it's a much better looking trade. When I take a look at this trade, I'm not counter trend. As you can see, pound just broke out higher, really against this long resistance level, broke out higher and had a pullback. And now we've got this confirmation candle. So the daily chart looks wonderful on this. We came in here to the 4-hour chart. Again, everything looks good here. Everything looks good for an entry. We've got EMA turning up. We got RSI strengthening. We got a parabolic SAR that's been broken. To me, this thing looks ready to go, and it looks ready to go now. Obviously, this trade is going to work much better if the markets rally over the night and rally tomorrow. If the markets don't, this trade probably doesn't work. That being said, remember, today that it was a down day, the pound was up against the Swiss franc. So that's why I said I think this is the better trade. It might not have as much return as something like Aussie Swiss franc or Kiwi Swiss franc. We'll look at that next. But I think if the equity markets don't rally, I think this one still has a chance to make you money. Whereas Aussie and Kiwi, I don't think it has a chance to make you money. I think you have to have the market rally in order to make money on those pairs. Now, when we're going to be looking at these, we don't know which one is better, the Aussie or the Kiwi. So let's take a look at Aussie Kiwi. We can see here that Aussie has been falling against Kiwi. So that tells me that the Kiwi is actually stronger right now than the Aussie. So let's take a look at Kiwi Swiss franc. Let's take a look at it on a daily. And again, this is what I'm talking about. The trade I just looked at, pound Swiss franc, was a trending setup. Had the trend, everything looked good, follows all the rules in trend trading. However, when you're looking at a reversal trade, so again, a reversal trade, we're saying, hey, I think there's going to be a big reversal off this point. You can see we've got some support in here. Big low last July. Look at the rally that led off of that low. I mean, this is a monster rally. From 50 all the way up to 52, that's a 4.5% rally. Could we get something like that? I don't think we're going to get 4.5%, but I think it could easily be 1, 2, 3%. Looking at a 4-hour chart, starting to see some reversal. We had this low here, bounce here, we're turning up. We want to take a look at where we have some resistance coming up here. Now we get a little bit of resistance here. You could put it down 50.46. Look, if you want to wait until 50.65 for this resistance to be cleared out, that's fine. For me, this one clicks all the boxes. Again, RSI crossing above 50. I've got EMA turning up. I've got a parabolic SAR break. That to me is a trigger, is ready to go. So look, two trades here. Pound Swiss franc, I think, is going to be a more sure thing. Kiwi Swiss franc, I think, has the potential to be the bigger trade, but you need the equity markets to rally. If you don't get an equity market rally, I don't think that trade works. Where I think pound Swiss franc could still work. I think that is crystal clear here. So let's wrap this up. Look, volatility is here. Big moves happening, especially in the US session. Expect that to continue. The tariffs on and off, we all know it's a drama. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That is the beauty of President Trump, very unpredictable. So you just have to deal with it. Looking specifically at pound long against Swiss franc, that's the better trade. What could be the bigger trade is Kiwi Swiss franc. Thanks for joining me. Bye, everyone.